This episode of the ABIC Podcast is brought to you by the Aesthetic and Beauty Industry Council. Hello and welcome to the ABIC Podcast, your online support community for the aesthetic and beauty industry. Here, we're strengthening and unifying the industry through representation, innovation, and education. This is a platform created and dedicated to the aesthetic and beauty industry, valuing unity and advancement. We serve to represent, support, and inspire you by connecting you with industry experts, expanding your knowledge through educational pieces, and bringing you the latest industry news. This is the ABIC Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller, and welcome to the ABIC Podcast, where we bring you conversations that shape the future of our industry. Today's episode is all about voice, your voice and the authentic human voice, and why it's the most powerful tool you have in an era where artificial intelligence is everywhere. Here's the truth. AI can write faster, but it can't write you. It can't capture the quirks, the soul, the lived perspective that makes words move people. And while every brand has a voice, not every brand knows how to use it. That's where a professional copywriter comes in, someone who can shape the authentic human voice of your brand into words that build trust, spark emotion, and make you unforgettable. To explore this, I'm joined by Rachel Medlock, a professional copywriter in the beauty and the aesthetic industry whose work is instantly recognizable for its sass, originality, and substance. Together, we'll unpack why the authentic human voice, crafted by a professional, is the future and how you can protect and amplify it, and the science why humans still crave words written by humans. If you've ever wondered how to make your brand stand out in the age of AI, this conversation will show you why your voice and your authentic human voice in the hands of a skilled copywriter is your greatest competitive edge. Welcome to the podcast, Rachel. How are you today?
I'm so good, Steph. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm totally wrapped having you on the podcast today. I can say I've been trying to get you on this podcast for a little while now, but mainly number one, because I'm such a fan. I actually love stalking your Tuesdays. It's Tuesdays now, isn't it? In your car when you do little updates.
Oh, car chats. Yes, that old thing.
And then genuinely your posts, just every time I read it, I'm like, mind blown. I didn't think of it this way. And of course, those of you that don't know who Rachel is, she is wordsmith extraordinaire, copywriter, and also industry professional as well, right? So please tell us all about you, but also how you came to be in this incredibly niche area of the beauty and aesthetics industry.
Yeah, so I'm coming up to my 11th year in the industry, and I started fresh out of uni, actually. I kind of flirted with journalism a little bit, went into PR, didn't love the agency life too much, and then found myself in marketing for an aesthetic technology company. And I stayed there for 5 years and ultimately fell in love with the industry and the people that make it what it is. So when it was time for me to go out on my own, and there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that I wasn't just going to be writing every day, all day. That was what I wanted to do with my life, that I was going to stay in this industry because there was such a need back then to tell the stories of salon, spa, and clinic owners. And then honestly, a few months after leaving my job, we all went into lockdown and I was like, oh, okay, you're going to make this work, girlfriend. So yeah, and so that's kind of what led me to really just connecting with as many people in this industry as possible and helping them tell their story and show up online and be as authentic as possible during that time. And now, I'm incredibly lucky to be able to continue to support them on the other side, and work on some pretty amazing projects with some pretty epic brands. So just fell in love and just never left.
Just never look back. And it's so
Yeah,
funny how I hear this similar stories talking to so many people in the industry, how they were affected, or there was a pivotal moment in time where COVID really did change the direction or really solidified, people's passion where they wanted to be. And I think it was
absolutely.
quite a meaningful and reflective time that, I feel like really deeply, profoundly affected us all in a good way, because it always leads us to, everything in life leads us to what we're passionate about, and passion you have in
Mm.
spades. You can hear it in your writing, the way you speak, the way you come across, and the way that you bring brands, but also the written word, like, to life, really, is all I can kind of liken it to. That the word bounces off the page. And I've noticed lately that there's a lot of good copy going around. So
Yeah.
there's heaps of it. But does it bounce off the page? Does it speak to you? Does it give you tingles? Does it connect with you? Are you feeling like you're speaking to a real person? And I've noticed the really good copy, the quality of the copy has happened obviously since the rise of AI.
Mm.
And it has to have disrupted the copywriting industry. How did it change the way, in particular, that you approached your work?
Yeah, so it was probably around late 2022, early 2023 when I was kind of coming out of my maternity leave bubble and coming back to the industry after having my little boy, and ChatGPT in particular had really just become like a thing and more mainstream across the industry. So I guess coming back after maternity leave, to be completely honest with you, I was shitting myself because I was like, oh, okay, good. You've come back and you don't even have a job because the robot can do it. But then the more that I kind of started to navigate that whole platform and how people were using it, and now in 2025, how people and brands and creatives are using it, my perspective has definitely changed. Without a doubt, it has disrupted any creative industry, copywriters in particular. But I like to say to people that use it more as a time saving sidekick rather than a full time employee, right? Even for myself, it's allowed me to create more efficiencies within my business and within my writing, but it's never replacing me as the brains and the creator behind those words, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it's definitely, I think, some people and some creators have definitely run for the hills and are quite scared of AI. And then I think there's a group of us, myself included, that are like, well, if we're going to stand out in this industry, if we're going to still have have a job and a role and a purpose with the rise of things like this coming, then we need to get on board and become the master of it. So that's kind of the stance that I've taken.
I love that. I love it how you're using it as a tool rather than a replacement, and you're not running away scared of it and thinking, I'm going to embrace it. How do I bring this into what I do as a creator,
Yeah.
my voice? And I think, people talk about this authentic voice or a voice.
Yeah.
There's so much talk about this. But how do you actually define an authentic voice? What does an authentic voice feel like? And why is, I suppose, why is it so valuable in your professional identity?
Yeah. As a brand, tone of voice is absolute make or break. It's your ride or die. And it's something that I'm so passionate about because it should basically represent you on your best day. Because it's like you've mentioned before, it's how you give people the tingles, the feels. Like it's what you're using in your copy and content across all the different ways that your business shows up, online, offline, on paper. It is representing you. It is your secret salesperson. It is literally the first impression of your business a lot of the time. So the way that that tone is representing your brand says a lot to your dream customer about who you are, what you do, and why you're the business for them. And I think that in an industry like ours, it is continually growing, evolving. There's new businesses showing up every single day. You need to be on top of your voice and really honor that voice and represent yourself, your brand through that voice to stand out, right? Like we're in a sea of sameness, whether it's through AI or just the sheer volume of businesses and brands showing up in our industry, that it's how we sound and how we make people feel that defines us, right? And that's got to come from authenticity because It's just people are going to know. They know so much about beauty and skin, or
Right.
they think they do through social media and inundation of marketing. So you need to make that feel natural and create that connection. Otherwise, honestly, you're probably going to get left behind.
Do you think when you say people know, do you think people know it's AI? Like, what do you think are the biggest limitations of, sort of AI generated content, particularly in our niche?
Yeah. It's, I think now, like if you asked me this question in 2023, I probably would have been like, oh, nah, probably if you weren't a writer. But I feel like now in 2025, people can really tell. There are those little things that are such a given, right? Like, who is using that many rocket emojis before ChatGPT? Like, seriously, how many times are we saying elevate? Like, where are we elevating to the moon? Like, I don't know. But so there definitely are those kind of takeaways there. But yeah, I think that the limitations with our industry and AI is that, yes, it can string together a paragraph. It can probably describe what blue light LED does, but can it sit across from a nervous client that is their first time going into a clinic to treat acne scars or pigmentation or something that is really a struggle for them to get out of the house confidently? That is what we are conveying in our copy. It is the feeling, it is the nuance, it is the emotion that can only come from someone with a beating heart. And sure, we can tell it to speak to emotional concerns of a client with acne. And it might say really generic things like, you know, redness, painful, uncomfortable, embarrassed. But we know as humans that have lived with these skin conditions, it is so much more than that.
Mm,
And I think that the way that AI is limited in our industry and the way that we show up in copy and content is that human touch. Because sure, it can be polished, but is it connecting and is it creating trust? And I feel like they are such currency in our industry, right?
mm,
Um, so that's kind of my stance, and I feel like that's probably what separates a copywriter from AI in our industry,
mm.
because we have the heart and the soul and that feeling behind what we're writing about, right? And in our industry, I feel like that is such an integral part of what we do and what we create for our clients, right?
I feel like you've hit the nail on the head. When you were speaking, I was feeling the emotion right then when you were speaking, because I know I've struggled with, skin concerns. And sometimes it's just a word that you say that encapsulates, you got it, you understood me. And it doesn't need to be a
Yeah,
convoluted paragraph that is, AI generated. Sometimes it's just the one word responses, the feeling, the silence, the pauses,
I see you.
yes.
Yeah,
Right. But
yeah.
lots of people still like if people are asked, research says, to pick between AI content and real human content, they struggle to
Mm,
find the difference. Yet with sales, now there's another little kind of research study that says, yet they struggle to realize the difference, but
yeah.
yet somehow you sell more and they feel more connected to the human one. But it's not the word. It's not exactly the words. It's
It's the feeling.
right. Explain.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, and that's the thing, especially in sales copy. We're not selling, at the end of the day, your treatment menu, your retail shelves, you are not selling the product or the service. You're selling the feeling. You're selling the better version of themselves. Because Sally that's coming in, that's booked a course of, skin needling and is going home with $500 worth of product, she's not doing that because she wants to spend all that money. She's spending it because she wants that version of herself that leaves the house without makeup on, that feels confident looking in the mirror, that thinks, yeah, I'm still hot. I've got this. That is the version. That's what Sally's buying when she reads your treatment menu and your website descriptions and all of those things where you're talking about skin needling or products or whatever it is. And that's what we do through copyright. It's creating that connection. It's the emotion behind the words. It's not necessarily, like you said, it doesn't need to be convoluted. It doesn't need to be this huge sentence, this huge novel worth of information. But it needs to say, hey, Sally, I see your problem and here's the solution, and this is how it's going to make you feel.
I feel like you're saying you're selling the feeling, not the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Sell the glow, not the glycolic. That's what I like to say to people.
Oh, I like that. That's very cool.
Mm.
I feel like right now, tell us, what would a business gain? Because I've had clinics. I've got a brand myself, obviously.
Yeah.
by using an actual human, like a person
Yeah.
that understands, can really deep dive into your brand voice. What is a business or the brand gaining from that professional copywriter as opposed to just typing it into AI?
Well, I think for our industry, working with someone like myself, you're getting somebody that walks the walk in our industry. If you put into AI, write me a social media caption about my red light LED, package that I've got on at the moment. They're just going to spit something out. I'm a copywriter. I'm going to say, what device do you have? What are we layering with this? How much are we, those little ins and outs of a salon or clinic that we know as people in this industry. We're gonna go that little bit further when extracting information from you to create something that feels really authentic to your business and honor the machines or the products or whatever it is that we're writing about. We're just going to go that little bit deeper, and it's really those things that come from experience and like on the ground work in our industry, things that a robot doesn't quite understand. It's those little nuances, right? Like in our industry, we just have so much terminology, technologies, all of those things that just, we can just chat about now, and it just feels like second nature to us. To AI, it's just going to do what you tell it to do. It's not going to ask you those like left of field questions that it might not have considered because it doesn't know how to, because it's not like living and breathing the industry. So I think that that's the biggest benefit. And that's definitely something that a lot of my clients say about working with me, is that they don't have to spend all of that time sitting there explaining what a machine does or what this product does or what this brand is, because I know it. That's what that's half the benefit of working with someone that gets the industry. Where if you're going to get AI to do that, you are still going to spend quite a bit of admin time sending it all of your, product information, or sending it your product, your technology specs. Like you've still got to put in quite a bit of work to probably get something that's still a bit meh, or you're going to have to spend a lot more time refining versus just giving it to someone that's like, yep, sweet, got it, let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing is, the person giving the prompt, so you as the business, doesn't even know sometimes what's special about your business. So it doesn't even know the angle to give it. It'll just say, you can just say, look, write a prompt, but you don't know what is inherently a standout because you're so close to it that a copywriter,
Yeah,
someone like yourself, can extract those personal stories, that that identity of yours, and then actually come at it from a completely different angle, so it doesn't all sound the same. That's what I'm finding. It
hugely.
all sounds the exact same, Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you've made a really great point of like when I welcome a new client, my onboarding process is, it's had many, many names over the years by clients of like, basically an ABIC entry, or like, oh wow, I needed a wine after doing that, or this was a bit of a therapy session. It's long, it's meaty, it's deep. I ask people what they're ordering at the bar. I ask people what's on their Spotify Wrapped, things that have nothing to do with their business. Because when we get people just to take a moment and get out of their business and think about it like they're just another client or someone off the street, you get what you said. Like you get those stories, those little things that are just like, yeah, that's normal to them. But to me, I'm like, no, this is amazing. We need to capture this thing. And I think that's the benefit of having someone just kind of come and support your business that isn't in it every single day, because they see those little magic things that perhaps you take for granted.
Well, now I'm so curious. Please, can you do a little walkthrough of your process behind the scenes, and how you shape the client's authentic voice, and how you get to those, golden gems?
Yeah, so when a client signs up to work with me, they receive an onboarding document that I recommend that they just like sit down and probably dedicate like a good hour to. And that it's beneficial because then whatever they're working on with me, like with, so like say they've started with a website, but then a few months down the track, we're actually now doing monthly emails and socials and stuff. I know who they are, and it saves so much time down the track. Anytime they come to work with me, I've got that info. And like I said, it's got some really interesting kind of left of field questions about their music taste, their drink taste, their, what they want people to describe their business as, like if they were explaining it to a girlfriend at coffee. I want to know which service you sell the most of and why. I want to know what words you absolutely hate in our industry, and then what words you absolutely love, because then it allows me to be like, okay, she doesn't like using anti-aging, she likes using this. I'm not going to waste anybody's time using words you don't like. It's really like a full on, but I think super beneficial way of getting to know a salon or clinic, and something that I haven't experienced myself in kind of just seeing what other copywriters doing. I was like, no, this is what's going to set me apart, because I'm really going to get to the heart and soul of these business owners. And that's a big part of how I write, is so heartfelt, gets people in the feels. Like, that's my specialty. And the best way for me to do that authentically is to know these people like I'm going on a date with them.
Oh, I love that.
So we get a bit personal, and then, and then I know what drink to buy them when we go to the expo, right? It's all business.
Definitely all business. I find that have you noticed this, but there's
Mm.
just this increasing pressure for speed. Nothing's fast enough.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's efficient enough. I can't get through. I thought, well, when I have this tool, I'll get faster, but then just more work comes. And now when I have AI,
Mm.
oh yeah, I'm just going to sort through my stuff and write my to-do list really quickly. Everything just seems like it's moving so quickly. I use
Mm-hmm.
AI to organize things, and sometimes organize my to-do lists or my thoughts and things like that.
Yeah.
And I've noticed whenever I've used it for, copywriting, the speed and the I suppose efficiency doesn't balance out the heart and soul that I need. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
constantly having to remind it things because it doesn't quite remember. Well, how
Yeah.
do you balance this? What do you use AI for? And how do you balance this need for authenticity versus I've got to get this volume out?
Yeah, yeah, and I agree. Like, people want things yesterday, and I myself, as a mom and a business of, I own two businesses. I want things done yesterday too. I completely get it. And I think speed is great for some things, but speed without strategy is just more noise in your life, and it's just creating, you
Oh,
know, more frustration for you, right? But I absolutely use AI. I use it every single day. I use it for things that don't require as much strategy or brain power from me, so that I've got more of that mental load, bandwidth to focus on the things that are actually bringing in the money for my business or bringing in the money for my clients' businesses. So I use it for, much like yourself, collating, my to-do list. If I'm sent a report, I'm not going to sit there and extract every single number. I'm going to give it to it and be like, give me a list of everything that I need to know in this article or this report, to speed up those reading processes for me, so that I've got, okay, this is the key data. Now I'm going to go and use that to write something.
The Aesthetic and Beauty Industry Council is Australia's peak industry body, representing the collective professional beauty and aesthetic, salon, clinic and spa community. Created for the industry, by the industry, our council is a collaboration of industry leaders who bring their commitment and specialised skills to raise industry standards, guide regulation and be a strong voice to government. At ABIC, our purpose is to provide an accessible and supportive organisation for the betterment of the professional beauty and aesthetic field, to enhance working practices and promote unity across the various sectors of the industry. ABIC's mission also includes being a trusted source of referral, education and guidance for clients of the beauty and aesthetic profession. ABIC is here to support our members through an extensive offering, including hundreds of valuable resources, HR support and industry expert facilitators to ensure your continued growth and success. Join us today, and together let's safeguard the future of the beauty and aesthetic industry. Find us at www.theabic.org.au. At ABIC, we are here for you.
I use it to come up with subject lines for my emails, my weekly newsletter. I use it to refine my editing process. What else? I've used it as a grief counselor once. That was weird. But it's the parts, it's allows you to keep the parts that build connection with you, with your customers, with your brands, whoever it is that you want to connect with. That's not something that you can automate, but you can automate a lot of those kind of behind the scenes things that don't need that kind of brain power, or like, it's not rocket science. you can give those things to AI so that you can really use that more time and effort to focus on the connection things. But yeah, it will never write for me, but it can absolutely build the bones for me.
I like that you put that rule in there for yourself as well. And I find that when I use AI too much, my connections, my synapses don't fire as well. I
Yep.
can't do that same task as well and as quick when I've used the shortcut. And I think that's your brain just creating that myelin shortcut, that myelin pathway, that synapse
100%.
to say you don't need to do this anymore so you can forget it. So
100%. And that's a big thing that they're saying is that it's taking away people's critical thinking. And I think in our industry, that's so integral, especially as a creative. So you really do need to set some boundaries there with yourself, whether you are a creative or a salon owner. Is yes, it can theoretically do all of these things for you, but remember that your brain is big and beautiful as well. It can do the things.
and speed also, sometimes doing it yourself. I know it doesn't sound this way, but sometimes doing it yourself is actually quicker. Can't tell you how much time I've wasted trying to correct a prompt and then getting just rubbish back. Like constantly,
Literally.
what is going on? Why is every single iteration getting dumber and dumber?
Yeah, literally. And
It's terrible.
that's what I was saying about like salon owners. There is so much admin time involved in telling the bot about your LED machine, for example, that you might as well have either A, written it yourself, or B, got the professional that, maybe you deemed was too expensive now that there's ChatGPT to do it for you, because you've just wasted, an hour trying to get it to, like you said, spit out something half decent. So
Speaking of
yeah.
too expensive, ROI. Now,
Yeah.
we're talking about the connection that when you do one post that's really effective, or one ad that's really effective, or you
Yeah.
structure your copy in a certain way on your website that's
Mm.
extremely emotional and gets that response, that one can be 20 times more lucrative than 20 posts that you put out there. So it's quality really over quantity.
Mhm.
Get it right.
Absolutely. It's always, well, in my opinion, it's always quality over quantity. I'm sure that a lot of the social media experts out there would agree that it's not about how many times you post, but it's what you're posting, right? And I know for me that clients that have, worked with me for website copy, blogs, socials, like you think about the investment in a copywriter for your website, sure, it's, anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, let's say. That's a few a few packages that you've sold from creating more connection with your clients, right? Done, paid off. Now let's focus on, beyond the green from that investment in your words. I feel like don't, we can have this conversation about so many things in our industry about investing properly rather than maybe not investing great and then having to pay it again. And I think that words are definitely one of those things, because you think about the power of some of the packages that you've got in your salons and clinics. Yeah, the power of good words can get you there in the green, that's for sure.
For sure. And they're good words, they're feeling words, they're evergreen words, they're things that
Absolutely.
2 years' time, like you can invest in some beautiful copy that really speaks to people on, a personal level and a deeper level that triggers their sensation to want to explore more, pick up the phone, do all these things.
Hmm.
It'll be the same connection in 2 years' time. It's the same copy that does that. You can update the what it is that you're selling, but the why,
Yeah.
that doesn't change, does it?
No, exactly. And so much of your copy should come back to your why. And anybody that's worked with me or follows me on Instagram knows that I talk about that a lot, of like always come back to your why, because that's your North Star in your business. It's mine, it's yours. Any brand, whether you're in this industry or not, should be so connected to their why, and everything that they do strategically in their business, whether that's marketing or not, should always come back to that why. And copy is 100% a part of that. And I feel like brands that really know their why and honor that through their copy, they're the ones that connect with clients quickly and get them in the door. And then, like you said, there's the opportunity to, we've got them in the door for treatment A, but that's when your genius comes in, because you create that lifetime client, and then they're on to B, C, D, E. Like that's where your genius comes in. The words get them there, and then it's up to you to carry on that that relationship.
I really connect with that. I love when you do speak about the why because, I do check out quite a bit of your content and it does spark things. Like I'll read something and I'll think, wow, that's a really original way of saying that or thinking that. And then you bring in this, like you've got your own kind of sass too, which is just very cool. You don't get that from a lot of copywriters. I haven't seen that kind of originality in there that really
Thank you.
speaks out and connects, and it gets kind of real and gritty sometimes. I'm like, oh, I felt that, and I felt it not because you had to say it in the most English eloquent way. Sometimes you just say it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, boom, girl, you just you just laid that out. That was awesome.
Sometimes you've just got to say what it does on the bloody tin, right? We're all time poor, as we've been talking about today. Let's just get on with it. This is what we're going to do, and this is why we're going to do it. And that was a big lesson for me of, like you just mentioned, people resonating with that. So when I went through a rebrand recently, I updated a lot of the copy on my website, and now my services guide literally says, this is what I do and how much it costs. Nothing. Like it used to be this really pretty way of getting you to do it, and now I'm just like, give me prices. And it's working.
I hear you, and I feel like that is a lesson for anybody out
Yeah.
there hearing this because we make so many mistakes.
hmm
For our website, our copy, our copywriting, our brands. What are the most common ones that you see, and that you've actually changed in your rebrand?
Oh my God, my rebrands, that was a journey. Oh God, and I hate that word. Why did I just say journey? But yes, the number one mistake that I see people make, let's use websites for example. The number one mistake that I see is that people make their about page all about them, which seems super counterintuitive considering it's called an about page, but it's not about you. It's about why your business is for that client. Absolutely, we're going to have a moment to celebrate your achievements, your qualifications, your team, all of those wonderful things that makes your business you. But again, it should always come back to that why, because I'm not sitting there finding my dream skin clinic and the make or break is their big list of all the courses they've done. That absolutely builds trust, but it's the client experience that they've painted for me in their copy, those little points of differences. They're painting the picture of what I'm going to feel when I'm on the treatment bed and ultimately when I've left the treatment room. They're the things that need to be on your about page about your client experience. And that's something that I don't see a lot of, and probably the number one thing that I tackle when I do go onto someone's website. I'm like, right, well, we're going to tell your whole story. And it's not the story about graduating in 2003. We all know that. You've graduated. Fantastic, you're qualified. But we want to know, what did you learn from all of those things to create the experience that you're providing your clients? So that would definitely be the number one. And then the number two is just using the descriptions from when you bought your machine or your product manual from your skincare training. They're great. They tell you and your team about how the machine works and what the product does. But as a consumer, that's confusing the hell out of me. We need to get back to, again, the why. Why am I booking an IPL treatment? Why am I buying this retinol? It's utilizing that information that they've provided you in their marketing support, but turning that into something that is consumer friendly and not just selling the glycolic, but selling the glow, and it coming back to that human connection. So they're the two things that I tackle the most and secretly really love doing. Treatment menus are like my thing. But yeah, I really, really encourage anybody listening today, if they just want to make one change to their copy after listening to this, go on their website and look at it through the lens of a customer. Are you connecting with them or are you confusing the hell out of them? Because if you are, something's got to give.
Oh, tell you what though, when you were speaking, I had like different thoughts were firing in my head, and I thought to myself, well, hold on one second. I might be thinking my voice is fine and I'm saying the right thing, I'm doing the right thing, my brand is resonating, but it might not be. How do I actually know? What are the signs, the feedback, the metrics that we kind of look for to know this is not working?
Yeah, well, I mean, as a salon or a clinic, are you getting bookings? And if you are, where are those bookings coming from? I think most booking, salon softwares now can tell you the metrics of where and when people are buying and booking, that would be definitely something that you would be looking at. Um, Social media engagement, I know that when it comes to socials, we can have a following of 50,000, but are all 50,000 of those people located in your town or your city to book treatments? Probably not. But again, looking at what are they doing? Are they actually clicking those links in bios? Are they in your DMs engaging you for treatments? Just looking at all the different ways that you're showing up and I suppose seeing how they're affecting your bottom line, right? Because that's the ultimate thing of effectiveness. And I was talking about it on car chats last week. Have a chat to your community. Have a chat to the people that already know, like, and trust you, and ask them. If you've got VIP clients, they're the ones that are going to be the most real with you, right? So ask them how are they engaging? Are they feeling connected to what you're sharing online? If they're not, ask them why. Ask them, what could you be doing better? What could you be changing? I think we often forget to just talk to the people that are buying from us, right? We're sometimes in too much of a headspace of trying to find more people and bring more people in. But we've got this community here that already know, like, and trust us that probably holds so much valuable information about how we can be showing up for our business. And that's something I do a lot in mine. And it's absolutely something that any brand in our industry can be doing.
I really connected and understood when you said you could have 50,000 followers, but then you're not getting engagement. And that's a problem. People do amass followers. They're like, okay, I'm interested in what you do, but then the
Mm,
content fails to get those same community getting involved with what you're actually saying. Your
mm.
posts are more telling rather than, share, come back, let's have a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And people can often again, social media is, it's not my wheelhouse, but we all have to know it, right? And I think that from what I see, so many people get caught up in the metrics of it all and the vanity of it all. And I think even if you've got 1,000 followers, if you've got 100 followers, that's 100 people that have chosen to follow your business. Let's like imagine if you got 50 of those people on your bed, killing it. Like, I think that we can see success wherever. Like, it doesn't need to be this conventionally defined thing of that it needs to be 50,000 followers and la 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 la. It can be, hey, I've got a couple of hundred followers and they are so engaged with my business and they are booking and they are buying. To me, that's incredible. So I think often if we just actually take a moment to see what we've done and what we've achieved and where we're going, probably doing a little bit better than perhaps we thought because we're too busy comparing ourselves.
I love that sentiment. And okay, so as we wrap up, I'd really love to hear your thoughts because AI is a contentious issue. They're like, oh gosh, are we going to get GAI, super intelligence, yada yada yada? What's happening in
Yeah.
looking ahead? Where do you see the role of a human being copywriter in the next 5 years?
Oh
What
God.
skills that you think are going to be like keeping you relevant?
Oh God. That's hard because I suppose we don't even know what it's going to be doing in 6 months, let alone 5 years. So I definitely hope that we're not going extinct. I think that we'll evolve, and the people that do evolve and learn and grow with it will be the ones that survive, for a better term. I think that for any industry and any professional, keep your skills relevant. Keep learning, keep connecting with your people, keep telling the stories. I think that in 5 years, copywriters won't just be writers, will be the people responsible for brand voices, strategies, curation, and when you know, humans will know by then absolutely the difference between the two big pieces of copy. And I think that there will probably be a big undoing of consumer trust and all of that kind of stuff. And I feel like maybe, just maybe, it might come around to the copywriters. Like, people might get sick of AI shit when it comes to marketing. So I like to think that maybe there might be that kind of coming back around. But I think at the end of the day, whatever direction it goes in, any any profession, copywriters included, just keep evolving and learning and growing. And, much like myself, who's been on a few different journeys in this industry, just be open to pivoting and seeing where the world takes you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so
Thanks.
much for joining us on this podcast. As I said, I've wanted to get you on for quite a while. We finally got there. We finally did it. And I definitely will stay tuned for your Tuesday car chats because, yes.
Thank you. They're so unhinged sometimes. It's very funny. It really is all dependent on how daycare drop off went. If I'm just showing up like, oh my God, guys, okay, let's talk about this. But yes, no, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot.
Oh, and supporting, but thank you so much for supporting our industry. You actually do so much for our industry. You're there. Like, well, I
Thank
see you at
you.
the events, I see you supporting, I see you helping. And, you've also helped ABIC in the past as well. And I just think that that sense and spirit of altruism, even this discussion today and giving us your time about, and your expertise, is just really beautiful to share with the community. And yeah, it gives us a great sense of unity. And I think sometimes you get bogged down and you just need an expert to tell you, hey, unstick, this is how.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, this industry means so much to me and has done so much for me and given me this incredible career and platform that I've been able to grow over the years. So anytime that I'm able to give back and help others and help our industry just keep growing and evolving into the fabulous little unicorn it is, I will always be there. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Rach, and thanks everyone for listening.
Yes, thank you.
You've reached the end of another episode of the ABIC Podcast, your online support community for the aesthetic and beauty industry. Thank you for listening, and until next time, stay connected.